So in the Bible, from a Bible point of view, we can say you can have there are different types of downfalls. So, for example, could it be a spiritual downfall? So, spiritual downfalls is when you go against God. This is a spiritual downfall. For example, Adam and Eve had they faced this downfall because they were very close to God, but after they commit a sin, they did something against God, then that was their downfall. So that was the beginning of their downfall, because they went against God's instructions. So the spiritual downfall. So meaning that you had this level of spirituality, but because of your misbehavior, because of certain reasons, then you go down. So you fall down. But also you can have a character or moral downfall. So when integrity or self-control collapses due to certain reasons, could be temptations, could be greed, could be pride. So your integrity, so the moral downfall or character downfall, so it means that you are losing integrity. So, for example, King David fell into a moral downfall after he committed adultery. So this is example of a moral character downfall. As I said, as a born-again Christian, you may experience also this kind of downfall situations. And it is very important to understand that these circumstances may happen. And as I said, you have to understand what key lessons do you learn and how do you behave during the downfall. And as you see in the book, in Psalms 51, you see King David, he was now crying before the Lord. He was really asking for forgiveness after committing the sin. So he was very, very honest to confess the sin he committed. So when you face a downfall, as I said, the issue is how do you react and what do you learn from the downfall. So downfall can happen to anyone, but how do you react to that? But also you can have a circumstantial downfall when the external trials or attacks cause loss, pain, or failure, such as sickness or betrayal or financial loss. Like something you never expected. Maybe there's an accident. So all of a sudden everything is gone. Maybe you had a shop, your shop is stolen or is burned. So everything you had lost. So that means you start from zero. That is a circumstantial downfall. And also, if you read the book of Job, chapter 1 and 2, you see the story of Job. He lost everything. So that was a downfall that he could not expect. But the most important thing that we learn from Job is that he was able to handle that downfall. He was able to withstand and understand God through that downfall. So the issue now is that how do you react to that? And how do you relate with God during the downfall, during your downfall? Do you complain? Do you ask God, like, what is this? So you have to really understand and know exactly what to do during the downfall, because you may act in a very negative way that will even affect you. So what are the purpose? Maybe let's say there are three types of downfalls. So there is a downfall which is caused by God, like God caused downfall. So may experience a downfall which God has allowed it to happen. Is God caused downfall? And normally, God caused downfall has a purpose. And in most cases, if is for you to learn something. Maybe God wants to discipline you, God wants you to teach you something, or God wants you to grow in a certain area. So he will make a downfall for a good reason. Difficult moment for Job, but God allowed it because he was sure. Just God wants to prove to the devil that God, he has a servant called Job who is very faithful. No matter what, he can still keep the faith. So Job was a God's trusted servant who God wants to prove that he has faith. Now another type of downfall we call self-caused downfall. So it means this is a downfall which you make yourself. You don't blame anyone. You don't blame the devil. You don't blame God. It's your own mistakes. For example, if you fail to save money, and then you end up poor, you end up with no money, nothing. You can't even. You have no money for food. So how do you blame the devil? Eh? How do you blame God? It is your own mistakes. You have no wisdom on how to use money. So you don't have a financial discipline. You earn this money. Maybe you have this 100,000 or 200,000, and then you just use the money. Maybe in 1 week, all money is finished, and then you start asking